Hello and welcome to the Bear Experiment podcast. My name is Monica Clavijo and today's date is June the 7th, 2023. And welcome to episode number 1. I wanted to create a podcast where we can meet with everyday awesome people like you and I, where we can really share our personal stories. And I do believe that we're put on this earth for a purpose, and it usually is involving helping others. So if this conversation today can help just one person, then we've achieved our goal. I'm so pleased to be able to share with all of you today's special guest. Not only is he an amazing musician, composer, songwriter, producer, but I've had the pleasure of knowing him since junior high. Everyone, please welcome my friend, Monterosa.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Mo.
Thank you so much for participating with me on this little project that I don't even know where I'm going with it, but I'm just going with it
You're
right
going
now.
with it. That's what matters. You're doing it.
And I appreciate
Other
it.
people are just sitting, watching, wondering, how can I do mine? You're doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is a lot of fun. You've really helped me out a lot with,
I don't
the
what you're talking
setup,
about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
everything that I've had
Nothing.
to gather together with the lighting and everything. You've been instrumental in getting started, and I appreciate your help with all of this.
Well, you said it. The idea is to help other people do also what they want to do. Somebody helped me do what I do today, and they were just friends. They were just people around that were just friends. It's not like I went to some blue collar school or I come from some sort of family that's oriented in some sort of thing. It was just people helping.
You do. I have to tell you. So why don't we get started there? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your love for music and songwriting? And, I've known you forever, and I know you've really had a passion for this since I met you.
Well, it was, the beginnings was because of an interest for music itself. My family, especially my mother, made sure that we listened to music pretty much at the house all the time. The love for the instruments is because we had, I'm from Barranquilla, Colombia, so there's, in my neighborhood, there is a small group of vallenato, which is a folklore music from there. And there's guys that lived in the block that used to sometimes leave their instruments at my house. And you always get to the curiosity. It's like,
That's pretty cool.
Can I touch this? Can I try this?
Yeah.
Whatever. So the curiosity was always there until the day that hanging out around the block, I saw a band, an actual rock band, quote unquote rock band, local guys from the neighborhood.
Spanish
play in a garage. I don't even remember this time if it was Spanish or English, but they were just playing in a garage.
So how old were you?
I don't know, would have been maybe 7.
Really?
Maybe 6. And I just saw them. I say, whatever it is that they're doing is freaking cool. I wanna see what that is.
Were you one of those people that when you saw that you were just like, that's what I want to do when I grow
wouldn't
up?
say that's what I want to do, but the interest was there.
Right.
Like that is the thing that opens up the gates to like, what is this? What is that guitar? What is that drums? What is these things? And yeah, it wasn't until many years later that I came to the U.S. in '89 that an uncle of mine, fast forwarding even a little more, around '91, on a family visit, gave me my first guitar because I was curious about a guitar that he had behind
Because
the door.
he saw it. He saw that you had that little spark.
I saw the guitar. He had no idea. I saw the guitar and I asked him. I was like,
"Can I have it?"
No. I just said, hey, whose guitar is this? And he was just like, you want it? But you have to learn how to play it. I'm like, seriously? Okay. He had no idea what was going to happen after that. I had no idea how to play it. I drove my cousin, Diane, crazy for 3 days while I was at her house because I had no idea how to tune it, play
I wouldn't
it.
have wanted to be your parents in the
I
living
had
room.
no clue what to do with it until I got to my building back in Miami. And again, another friend in the building that I used to ride skateboard with goes, hey, there's a guy that moved in that also plays guitar. He has long hair from Venezuela, blah, blah, blah. He became my best friend, Rodi. And he taught me like a very simple lick at the beginning, which was like that lick, but very slow. And the next night that I met with him, I was like, oh, you meant this? And he was like, what, you learn it? Okay, cool. Let me teach you some chords.
Like,
and then
this guy's a genius.
No,
this guy's a natural.
It wasn't even like that. It was just like, oh, he is interested.
No,
So-
and that's exactly it, right? You don't expect somebody to have that type of reply or right?
Which is
so
the thing,
soon.
Which is the thing that you tell that people when they ask me, hey, can you teach me how to play guitar? And I go, how bad do you want it? How
Right.
about do you want to learn?
Hey, I tried it. It's not easy.
Because it's not even the skill. It's just the beginning usually hurts on the hand.
How many blisters did you get?
The blister, you get a little callus, but as the callus build up, it's just like anything, like wearing a pair of brand new shoes until you don't fit them right and you walk in them for a while.
Right,
You don't.
right.
Same thing with the guitar when it comes to that. And yeah, that kind of opened the gate to, we started playing every night in the building. Like every night, it was our pastime was to sit down on the stairs and just play, or just come up with ideas or possibly original songs. We had no idea what we were doing either. And yeah, that opened the gate to just becoming an interest that I was like, okay, let me dig in. He taught me how to read a very simple way of learning guitar, which is called tablature, which is the lines represent the strings and the numbers represent each fret. So that I have rhythm. So I'm able to listen to something and duplicate exactly what's happening rhythm wise. So that was enough for me to like start buying a bunch of magazines and books and stuff and learn on my own. By the time I was maybe 3 months into it, I was already writing my first song or so.
What was your first song?
It had no name. It was just it was that progression. And then he will like try to sing and also play, but again, it was just none planned, and none of it was planned. None of it was like, okay, I'm gonna become a very educated guitar player and go to school and study music production and blah blah blah. Never really did that. All I did was like, okay, what do I need now? An electric guitar? Okay, let me sell my skateboard.
Next.
And I just sold my skateboard,
That's
sold my
awesome.
Nintendo. And my dad says he'll put half, but he wasn't gonna buy me an electric guitar. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then I ended up buying an electric guitar.
And then you really drove your parents crazy.
Not really. I still was using headphones. I think I got to drive them crazy about a year into it, more so. And then it became more like they understood that this was a good thing because it will keep me home.
Right. Out of
most
the
of the time.
street.
And,
Out of trouble.
Out of trouble more than anything. And it was just the best pastime I ever had because I would spend hours playing at home. Learning all the sorts of songs that from Guns N' Roses and Poison and all these bands from the 80s, and
Those were the
and
bands.
it was just like one after the other, and then I said, okay, cool, and I just kept going. Then in high school, Mr. Bennett, if you remember him,
I do.
he allowed me to go on lunchtime. He was the guy for music appreciation, by the way, in Miami Springs.
Miami
And-
Springs Senior High.
Exactly.
Golden
Class
Hawks.
of 95. And he will allow me to, in lunchtime, he will allow me to go in, grab a guitar and sit on the hallway right in front of the door of the classroom and just to spend my lunchtime playing. So that was,
I do remember
was the
that.
thing.
I remember Eric.
and I had, that was like all year long. That's what I did. And then
Yeah.
was, I forgot Mr. Shepard. That's the name, Mr. Shepard from band. He allowed me also to just walk in the band room during lunchtime when there was nobody and just goof around with the drum set and stuff like that.
You know, because I can imagine being a teacher, right? And you see a student who's constantly walking around with a guitar, is asking during their free time where all the kids are out, right, on the field, trying to pick up the girls, right, trying to do whatever it is that kids do in high school, and you're there asking, hey, can I go? Can I play on my free time? You don't have anybody here. I mean, as a teacher, I think that you have to appreciate that, and you say there's really a potential, or there's a true love for music from this
Indirectly,
person.
they did. It wasn't like, there was never like, yeah, come on, it's fine. It was just like, oh, cool, yeah, just
Because
go
you're
there.
asking for it.
But I wasn't that type of kid that would just go there to destroy the instrument
Right.
or to make noise. It was their instrument. It was their thing. They allowed me to like just go in there. Like I remember when I was learning how to mess around with a drum set, and I learned how to play some drums for the same reason, and then piano, and then bass guitar, and then percussions, and all these things naturally. Like again, it was never a plan to like, oh, I'm gonna go now and learn this thing. It was just like, oh, what does this do? Oh, that's how you play it. Okay, let me try it, and then all of a sudden it just became.
It just took off.
Every single approach to it was the same way. The same thing became with software when it became to recording. And I'm from the era of the 4-track, which it was a little tape with a little machine, and it was like manual analog recording. It wasn't digital yet. I came into this whole venture right before that change of analog to digital world. In fact, the first program that I got a taste of was Pro Tools, and it was free. And all these things was all on my own. It was never planned. And people will guide me, like, oh yeah, you should try this. It's free, or you should try that because so and so. And I'm like, okay, cool, let me see. And that was my pastime. Kept me away from drugs, kept me away from problems, kept me away from wasting time, kept me away from any sort of issues.
It's good to have a hobby when you're in high school.
But it wasn't even a hobby. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna have some free time. It was like my complete obsession.
Yeah.
It was like when I started fishing before all this. I started fishing before music, before skateboarding, and I became obsessed with fishing. And I had the rod, and I had the box, and I had the things, and I had that. Like I became obsessed.
Are you obsessive compulsive?
Yeah, it's totally fine if you're doing it for the right reasons.
Absolutely.
But it was like that. Skateboarding the same. I became the guy that a friend of mine gave me a skateboard. His name was Johnny. He gave me a skateboard. Here, you use this thing, and it was like all raggedy, falling apart. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy my own, and I bought my own. And then I bought the thing, and I learned about the wheels and the bearings, and I became obsessed about learning about the thing. And automatically, the same thing with the guitar. I not only did I learn how to play, but I learned to clean them, keep them, change strings, maintain them, understand why different guitars, understand why do I needed all these tools. And now I have, 8 guitars.
Do you?
And still need more. I still need a lot.
You can
more.
never have enough guitars.
Never. That's our candy store for musicians. Any guitar player could tell you that they cannot go to a music store and be like, man, I don't have that one.
It's funny because I work for a radio station, and I have a wall in the sales but by the sales area, and it's just it must be like 12 guitars, and they're all electric guitars, but they're all signed by the biggest artists, and but covered, a lot of country music artists. And every time I see that wall, I'm just like, Eric would die if he just he would be taking a selfie right here, right now. It really is a fun wall to look at. So, who were, you kind of mentioned them a little bit already, but can you share a little bit about who were your inspirations as musicians when you started, playing the mean guitar that you play? Like, who were those rock artists?
The main thing I came in through the rock line, like everything that had to do with rock.
Right.
So everything with rock, heavy metal, thrash music,
Nirvana,
hardcore. Not even
Roses.
before Nirvana, because I started right before Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all these bands. Like
Pearl
before
Jam.
the grunge era became the grunge era.
That's the jam right
before
there.
That. So right before that is when I started around 91, and Nirvana and all these albums were just coming out, which was the best year. 91 is when you have Metallica, the Black Album, Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusions 1 and 2. You have Nirvana, Soundgarden, and Pearl Jam. Like all those records came out that year. That was like one of the best years of music without knowing any of this back then. Again, it was just like, oh, this is cool. This is just great songs to learn. But that was the thing that kind of got it going. But I was always inclined.
It's funny because I was watching a podcast with another musician, and they just gave the exact same lineup that you did, mentioning how that was just a year where it was just like the best music that was back-to-back albums coming out.
It was a pivotal year for rock, for alternative music, because it was the moment where really good records came out. And nobody knew at that moment that year was going to be like when can we get another year like this where all these great records come out in 1 year? And it was like Pearl Jam 10, a smashing hit. Nirvana's Nevermind, a hit. But Metallica's The Black Album is still a hit. That album is still one of their best albums.
I think they're all still hits. Everybody's still jamming to all
And it
those.
made them commercial to the world because if people understood, Metallica. Yeah, I know Metallica, even if they didn't know this style of music. So it was a pivotal year. So I came in around that area. But it wasn't just rock. It was just the Latin music, and it was the Colombian music, and it was the rock en español. I got to learn rock en español because of my friend Rodi. I got to learn about Maná and Anitos Verdes and all these Latin rock bands that at that time in Miami, they were not popular. They were just starting to kind of like, people were just like, hey, have you heard this? And I'm like, no. Maná, Donde Jugarán los Niños is their album that literally broke the doors open for them. And I literally got to listen to that album here in the U.S. In Colombia, I knew other more undergroundish bands. And it just became more and more of a discovery. Oh, can I play that on the guitar? Can I play that on the guitar?
And you were just experimenting at that point.
Yeah.
Just feeling everything out.
Again, what made it fun... One, obviously, you have your parents taking care of all the bills and all the necessities like food and stuff, so you don't have to worry about any of that. But made it fun is it was always a discovery. It was always a book. It was always a magazine. Guitar magazines come with little snippets of like, oh, here's the guitar lick from this song, and here comes the
Oh.
whole song. Like 5 songs
That's
will
fun.
come in,
Okay.
and these 5 songs are from the new album of Metallica, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I was like, like literally, I became just completely swamped on everything that had to do with what can I do with the guitar, what other sound can I get, and that's how it was.
Okay. So let me ask you this, because I know that one of the biggest complaints that I hear from artists is everybody's got to put a roof over their heads. Everybody's got bills to pay. So you sign with a label. They're offering you X amount of thousands of dollars. Yet they're keeping the majority of the profits and the royalties on all of the music that you're writing and producing. So what are the benefits or lack of benefits as a starting artist where you can actually give them some advice? And with all the years that you've been working in this industry, is it worth it to stay independent and just, roughing it out there and, sleeping on
It's a
somebody's...
loaded question.
Yeah.
First things first, you have to study. You have to study on your own. I learned to pick up books about music business, books about other bands and their struggles. Watch a lot of documentaries about their things, and you kind of start getting a viewpoint of like something's not right. I was part of an independent record label. To my surprise, I was very naive to the business. I had no idea what royalties were, what all these terms.
You didn't have anybody guiding you in
nobody
the
at all.
business side
So
of it.
when that happens, and your own friends don't guide you, it kind of makes you go, huh? You're getting me into this, but you're not telling me what I'm getting really into. And you're not showing me what I'm getting into. That's when you start waking up. Like if you fast forward the whole time that was fun of just playing guitar, this is all the way into 2003, around there, 2004, okay, right before I launched the first album in 2005. You become very aware that the intentions of signing an artist as a business contract, right, is just that. It's just business. It's no longer about your art or how much passionate you are about your songs or your music. And I have to say that openly. The same people that were signing me, that were colleagues, that were supposedly friends, were not really clear as to why they were signing or what really entails signing me, or how can I collect my royalties? What should I be collecting? Where should I be getting my money from? And although we were the top selling band on their label, because they had like 4 artists, and I remember seeing a report, and I had like, it wasn't like huge amounts, but it was like a 1,000 something CDs at the time. CDs were for sale. We were the ones selling 1,000 and something, and all the other bands were below 400, below like.
And they were basically keeping all the profits.
I don't know about keeping or not. Again, being very naive about where's the money, where are the sales, how does this work, when are we supposed to collect? Because there's actually different pieces to music where you collect from. You collect from performing, you collect from actual publishing royalties, you collect as a songwriter, you collect as a producer. You also collect mechanical royalties, which means every time an iPhone comes out with Spotify, iTunes, whatever, and my music is on Spotify,
they'll give you a cut there.
There is a very tiny, these are very tiny amounts. But when you start talking about millions or hundreds of thousands or billions of records sold or records placed, then that's quite a significant amount of money, especially nowadays with streaming.
As somebody that is obviously not a musician, I would think that live performances and concerts, it's kind of, the way that you would command the majority of your royalties and profits.
Yes and no, because then you have also song placements on movies, TV, soap operas. Like I had one of the same friends that got me signed with this indie label happened to nail one of my songs, Entre tú y yo, to come in a soap opera for Telemundo, which was La Reina del Sur, and that got my song rolling. It's still one of the songs that on Spotify has like 15,000 plays. That's awesome. Something like that. And to my surprise, when I recorded that song, I wasn't happy about the production. I was like, well, it's cool, it's all right.
And that's the one.
And that's the one that everybody's like, I love the lyrics. The beginning lyrics are beautiful too, but it wasn't like, wow, this is a wow song. I was more interested on other songs in that album. But again, there's so many little trickles of money now that you collect from. Yes, live performance, when you're popular, when you're well known, that's when you make more money. Like say, if I was to perform away from Miami, I make more money than I make in Miami performing.
Why is that?
For whatever reason, there's a saying in Spanish, nadie es profeta en su tierra, o algo así, like something like that. Like nobody's a prophet in their own land, or because they're not known or something. I don't know exactly the mechanics of that, but it's just for whatever reason, if I was to perform away from Miami, like in Orlando, Puerto Rico, or New York, I tend to get paid 4 times more than I get paid in Miami. If we're going to talk about Miami and the venues and blah, 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 this is going to be a very gruesome podcast, especially
let's keep it nice.
Because
let's
I tend to be
nice.
very bare when it comes to this topic. And I have a lot of layers of skin when it comes to music and people getting ripped off, friends, not getting their money paid, friends just basically feeling in apathy about their music and just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do whatever. I'm just gonna get drunk and play, and I'm like, dude, that's not the way.
It's a tough business, It really is. It's competitive. It's not fair. It's an unfair business.
From the business point of view, I guess I'm not there. I don't do the business. I do. Literally, I have the corner store called Monterosa that sells food out of the window of his own house, which is my music. And I use my resources to reach out to the guy who's passing by, or to the person that I text, or to the person that I reach out on social media. I don't do the business part of the record labels. I'm not there. I've never agreed with a lot of the ways they do it. And I worked in one of their companies that literally and this is gonna be pretty gruesomely honest, but I worked for the company that for Latin America, they were in charge of making sure that all the legal parts were in place, so the collection of royalties will come in to all the big labels. So I got to see the behind the scenes.
You got to see the spreadsheet.
I got to see what exactly does that mean. And although they're great friends of mine, it's not their issue. I mean, if I'm paying you
business is business.
$250K a year,
business
and you need to go, and you're an
right.
attorney, and you need to go collect. Go collect my money. Go make the laws that I need so I could collect my money. Then monkey, right? Like Neil Lara, a friend of mine, the song is "Money's what make the monkey dance." That's literally what happened. So when I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes of these things, not just there, also in events that I got invited one time with the governor of Florida, and it was the labels in the room, and they were all arguing but they were all not arguing, but they were like complaining because the Grammys were not coming to Miami, blah, 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 blah. And then watching record labels acting like, oh, poor us, poor us. And I'm like, seriously?
You guys are making all the money. Stop complaining.
So when you see that in person, when you go to Capitol Hill and you see lobbyists going against artists' wishes, and they belong to radio stations, where you see that. Like, you don't hear it, you see that, because I was there. I was in the guts of Capitol Hill, helping out, representing artists, thinking I'm doing a great thing. Again, very naive guy about all this business and laws.
Well, nobody was holding your hand. You've learned this on your own.
And literally, I kept learning them by, you see that door? Walk right in, and let me know what you see there, buddy. Just see if you could collect a couple of bucks on the way in there while you're there. And it was kind of that viewpoint where, like, you're going to learn about the industry without me telling you I am from the industry. I'm just your friend giving you a job. So come and play a song. I'm going to pay you some money. You're going to talk about helping artists. And I'm going to fly you there. And I'm going to give you hotel and first class and whatnot. And again, you're an independent artist with a record out. And somebody tells you they're going to fly you to a hotel.
Yeah.
They're going to give you the food. Washington, D.C., all the works. And these are great friends of mine. Don't get me wrong. It's not their fault whatsoever. But when you open up your eyes to that part of the business, you learn that the business it's not that it's evil. It's not that it's negative. But if you are not a business-oriented person, get ready, because you're about to get screwed.
Have you ever worked with a manager representing you?
Yes, but he wasn't that active of a manager, to be honest. Like, to me, if you look it up from the word management in a dictionary, it's a person who grabs something and literally makes it grow, makes it expand, makes it move in the right direction. That's usually what a manager does at a place, at a store or a company. They grab the pieces of the company they're managing and they make them go in the right direction. So I've never really had a manager that has made that motion to the next level. I consider that the music as a band when I came out, the first record and the records after, had a very great appeal to people. Every time, in the way I say that, not because, oh, it's my music, no. But every time I play live and you look at somebody who doesn't know you and their face is just frozen looking at you like, what? Who is this guy? There's something
You're feeling it, right? The energy. There's an energy exchange.
But watching that, or strangers that come up to you, like it has happened to me at a club, and this was actually very cool. I was playing at a place used to be called Buck 15 that a friend of mine invited me to play, and there was a person in the room hanging out. As I was buying a beer, they were like, "Hey, I have your first demo."
Oh, really?
And I'm like, "What do you mean?
That's pretty
Didn't
cool.
you throw some CDs back in '98, like on Bayside? Like, you have that?" I'm like, "Yeah, wow, that's really like you really don't know the impact until you encounter that and you go, okay, so my music has made a dent somewhere."
Absolutely.
With some people.
I
So
believe
same thing
that.
with the records now. I have people that will listen to it and they'll be like, "Man, I was searching for you," or you could check it out on my YouTube. If you go to my YouTube of Monterosa Music, check out the comments. There's comments in the song Entre tú y yo where people go, "I've been trying to find for this song. I've been trying to find the artist." And I found this, no lie. I just literally just replied to all these things and he said 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
No way.
And I'm like, man, I suck. I need to reply this
You got to
faster.
engage with your audience, Eric.
I had no idea these things were there. Now that I'm releasing the new record and I'm organizing things better, I'm finding...
You are very active and involved with your social media.
Yeah, and I found
You're very good
comments
at that.
from 9 years ago. Again, people that were finding the
Little
music.
late, better late than never.
But again, it's still a spark of like, they're looking for it.
Yeah.
So it gives you that idea that, hey, your music works somehow. Now, mind me, business includes marketing, includes promotion, and you need cash
Money.
for that. So if you have an investor, which is, and this goes out to investors. If you ever want to invest to an artist, invest, because it's the same thing as investing money in a house. Literally, you're investing in an artist. If you know how to do a real good contract, you'll make money for a lifetime from that artist with that artist, and you see them grow. But it's that you have to have some sort of funds to break through what the record labels have
Control
managed
of.
to put their wings over and be like, "Oh, you want it? Yeah, you could look at this a little opening right there and just come in," you know.
It's
And-
difficult to compete with a record label, though.
yeah, and some people have managed to do it. Like
Right.
I follow this artist Ross, RUSS, and he opened up my eyes to like, stop wasting time. Just release music, do good music, release it, and continue until you get the desired effect. And it makes sense. This new record, Así Empezamos, Entre ella y yo, is an acoustic album, just vocals and guitar. And the purpose of it was like, let me just break through with something that's raw. No vocal tuning, no special gadgets, just raw. And I just started releasing one video after the other. To this morning, I had an email from YouTube saying, "Hey, you got 14 new subscribers, 800 and something new listens. People have listened for 1,000 something." I'm like, what? Where? Because not everybody subscribes either. That's the other funky part about this whole promotional thing. So you think, oh, I got 300 subscribers, which I'm one person away from 300, by the way. It's like, it's funny because you think, I have 300 subscribers. I'm going to get at least 300 views. No, you're not. You're going to get some views. But it's just to get the person to stop, listen, engage with it, say something if they want to. Strangers, sometimes they don't do it. And then when you finally get to see a result on a comment, you go, wow, thanks. I had no idea. There's a guy in Texas that I don't know. And the guy is like an avid fan of my stuff. Like he just left 2 comments on my recent videos. And I'm like, who is this guy? I always think, oh, it's my aunt, it's my uncle, it's my cousin. It's a friend of mine. It's a friend of mine that knows me. But honestly, I've learned that the dedication in that, putting all the attention on that direction, doing it right, ethically, proper, keeping track of the quality of the song, track of how the song sounds, everything, and putting it out, thinking, hey, I want you to really understand what I'm trying to do. It creates an effect. People go and listen. Like last night, Todos Somos del Mismo Lugar got on my top 10 of my Spotify page. I'm like, how did that song get there? That means that song has been listened to more than any of the other songs. And that song is one of my oldest songs that I have written. But the message is like raw.
It's a great song.
It's literally just about my time as an immigrant in this country.
Right.
And the fact that you kind of wake up to like, hey, you know what? No matter my skin, no matter what you think I am or you think, we all come from the same place. That's basically the theme of the song.
That is a fact.
But it was a surprise. It was a total surprise last night. So, yeah, business, great if you at a business head, if you're a business junkie. The artistic side of music, to make money, you have to think in business. Yeah. You won't. But you can make money from different sources. There's a bunch of them. It's a lot of work at the beginning. And you have to survive.
And especially that you're doing it, the majority of it yourself.
And you have to survive to eat
and there's
have
that
a roof.
level of consistency that you have to maintain in order to really, be in front of everybody's face and social media. And it's a lot of work. I know
it's
you're
just
very
like
busy.
this right now. Podcast, everybody, quote unquote, everybody's
doing a podcast
but
now.
What's going to be the difference? The breakthrough will have to be Monica went out her way to just tell people, hey, have you heard mine? Have you heard mine? Have you heard mine? Have you heard this? Hey, can you please? Because literally, I do that to people. I'll tell them, hey, let me have your phone. Let me give you my Spotify. Here, check it out. Or I'll send them in a text message. Have you heard my music? Here, check it out. Just let me know what you think. Oh, yeah. And again, the funny thing is when you're nobody, people, yeah, I'll listen to it. And, sure. And nobody gets back to you. Then one day, all of a sudden, you're like, it happened to me when I went to a TV show, a very international TV show, and I was there. Everybody was like, oh, I saw you on TV. You're famous. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I was just working my butt off. I was there promoting.
It's a lot of work.
Like
I know you're working a lot.
I wasn't there yet. And that was thanks to the team that I had before behind me. And again, being very naive, a lot of artists don't know what it entails. They don't have the layers of skin of experience of like, what does it take to release an album? What does it take to go to a TV station? What does it take to do an interview on the radio? Who are you talking to, And what are you expecting from that? Because making a record, all my records have been done like big budget records, all of them. I don't have big budget.
Right.
I just learned to really use all the tools that I have and people who have helped me. A lot of people who have helped. This hasn't been done alone. That have been like, yo, I want to play on your record, or I want to do this, and I some of that still have to cough up money out of my own pocket.
Sure.
For it. But it has been done at the pace of a big record. Now I understand too that it's no longer about, let me get inspired. Let me go to an ivory tower and sit and wait for inspiration. No, now it's about like, you better start churning some songs.
Interesting that you brought that up because what is your perspective on AI and music writing right now? Because like you're explaining, you're feeling inspiration. You're sitting by the ocean. You fell in love with a woman. You're writing this amazing song. Artists aren't really doing that anymore. Now they're just kind of typing.
They're still doing it. They're still doing it. AI is going to be a tool. It's going to be here. Either we like it or not. I used Chat GPT for text, and I was blown away. I was like,
I've seen it.
It's
impressive.
And I said, wow, this is cool. I want, let's say I have a phrase saying, today I'm feeling powerful. I want today I'm feeling powerful in a very
seductive way.
And they will give me 20 up. And I'm like, this saves me so much time to do 20 posts about the same thing. So
you're seeing it positive,
as a
not
tool.
negative.
I mean, as a tool for now. Now, if the music, again, I'm going to sound like a music industry hater, but I'm not. But I do have an issue with if you get your tentacles onto a platform and you become the priority and everybody else becomes below, then I have an issue with that. I have an issue big times with that. It should be, I'm glad that you have 1 billion songs in your roster, but there's a bunch of billion more people that want to release music. Why do we have to go below the line? Let's pair up and give us all the same chance. So that's basically how I see it. With AI, it's the same thing. I got approached by the company that I launched music with a survey, like a 20-question survey, asking me exactly, would you be willing to lend your voice for other people to create songs? And you'll be paid, you'll be compensated. And I'm like, what? Nah, seriously? And I go, the moment you see that, you go, wow, this is moving really fast. Like
It is.
even in graphic design, because I do graphic design as well. I remember downloading a new beta version of one of these programs and going, I could take the background and put whatever I want on it. Now, it wasn't just putting anywhere. It was just, it's going to change the background, the lighting, the look to match the photo that I took of myself or somebody else. So I'm like, wow, this is insane. Mm-hmm. So in music, it's happening exactly that. You're going to be able to type, I want to sing an AC/DC style rock song.
Correct.
And even if you don't know how to sing, there's already an app that you sing not horribly, but somewhat
so I have,
close.
I have hope.
Everybody has hope. Not, you don't have to sing horrible, but it becomes where it matches your voice close to whatever the song is. And that's spooky. That's like, it took me years of singing in my car. For many years, leaving high school, I would just blast all those songs in my car. That's what I'm saying.
It's just, I saw an interview where it was Donald Trump and Joe Rogan. And it was all an AI made interview. And nobody could tell me that was fake.
So that is the thing where...
Because there's so much footage of their voice that it can just mimic and repeat, right?
But one thing that AI will never be able to do, no matter how much data it has, is the feeling of the person.
That's the question.
As a songwriter, yeah, anybody will be able to say, I want to write a song about butterflies. Yeah, they could write it through AI. That's totally fine. But they never gonna get the pure core feeling of that person's real viewpoint about butterflies onto a song. Same thing with me. I don't write songs from a structure point of view. I don't come from a school point of view. So I'll be playing a chord and a melody comes out of nowhere. AI will never be able to do that. They're going to be doing it based on the info that we fed the system. But again, that could only go so far. So as a tool, I think it's great. I think it's going to be fun to create a lot of things with it, or even make it let's say if I want to make a remix of one of my songs and I don't want to go through the whole process of like finding the beat
using the original.
I'll be able to go, I want my song, this song, I want it to be dance. Right. And I guess I'm hoping that I should be able to just dump the song into a database and bloop, out comes out the other end, a dance song. I'll be good, thank you. And I'll just tweak the corners, just like ChatGPT. You dump in your text and then you edit the text so it could match what you want.
So you have an incredible new acoustic album that you just launched recently with 11 songs and 11 videos, which are out right now. And I want to get it right. Así empezamos, entre ellas y yo.
Don't you guys love her Spanish?
I am Cuban, by the way. I'm an immigrant. I got here when I was 3 years old. I would love for you to share one of the songs. I have a preference if you don't mind singing it. Mi cielo ha perdido un ángel.
You're close. Mi cielo perdió un ángel.
There we go.
I will. And yes, the song, the album is available everywhere. You guys could find it on Spotify, Apple Music, all those platforms, as well as my YouTube channel, which I need everybody to come and subscribe. Because the moment we get to 1,000, I could actually broadcast live with my band, which is what I want.
Which I know you've done that a lot on Instagram and other social media platforms, and it's just packed.
But this will take it to a different level because my goal was the difference between Spotify and Facebook. Facebook has a lot of distractions, just like YouTube and all the other ones, right? But the moment you subscribe to a channel and you hit on the bell, the moment I upload a video, you get notified. The moment I go live, Correct. You get notified. So you won't miss the performances. And also, ideally, I'll be able to get a kickback from all those live performances. What I'm doing now with this album is releasing song by song every Thursday at 9 p.m. So far, it's been 5 songs, if I'm not mistaken. There's a new one coming out tomorrow. And it's just ongoing machinery. So what's happening now
and you're teaching the audience.
Spotify's YouTube is waking up to like, who is this guy? He's getting traffic on his channel now after 11 years of being dormant. He's like,
well, if you reply to people 7 years later, Eric, that's usually what happens.
But that's exactly what that album has meant. It was more of a gate opener. It was more like, I need to do something to break the ice. Also to allow people to see raw that I could sing, that I could play.
The true talent of
but without me doing it from a like, oh, look how good I sound. Look how good I play. It was more like, I'm going to sing you a song like if you were sitting in my studio. And that's the point of view from that record. It wasn't about check out my studio and check out my microphone. And like, it wasn't any of that. It was more like, I'm going to sing a song like I had somebody here in the room. So all the songs are sang very personal, very, very personal. No weird effects, no weird tricks, no nothing. One camera, one iPhone that helped me record it. And I edited them myself, and I cut them, put them in, send them out. And every Thursday, I'm running against the clock. I'm an hour before to get
You're
an
a
hour
busy
before
man,
lunch.
busy
I'm
man.
like, shoot, I gotta make it. And I make it. There was only one video that came out late because YouTube kind of was like, yo, this is not the right format. And it held me back. And I was like, okay, next morning, I'll set it up. Other than that, everything's been going smooth. But it's been causing also that all the statistics go up. So on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, followers, people looking, people asking, people reacting has been ongoing. So now that you asked for Mi Cielo Perdió un Ángel, that song specifically, that's one of the first songs that I wrote for my record coming out of my divorce, my first divorce. A friend that used to be a colleague of mine when the Monterosa band started was like, dude, you need to put all that gunk and make it into music. We need to make songs. We need to get the band, like the whole saying, we need to get the band back together. Literally, it was that moment for us. It was like, we had a band 98, 96 through like 99. These guys went to school, came back, and he was like, dude, we need to get the band back together. You know, I'm doing good. I'm working and I'm studying and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I heard this before. And I end up being the one doing all the work. But we ended up doing it. We ended up releasing a 2005 record that has that song, Mi Cielo Perdió un Ángel. And it caused quite a surprise because, again, I never wrote these songs thinking, I'm going to write a hit. The musicians involved were part of the creation. Like Mi Cielo Perdió un Ángel was a complete soft ballad. And it wasn't because of a drummer friend of mine, Fernando Sanchez, who in the studio said, no, hell with this. We're gonna pick up the tempo. It became a pop rock song. And it became such a good song that it's like everybody's favorite. Everybody who knows my music is like, dude, can you sing Mi Cielo Perdió un Ángel?
I love it.
So yeah, that's where that song comes from. So here it goes. Noches que dormí entre tus brazos, ya la lluvia adormecía, nos guardaba entre tus sueños. Tus brazos eran mantas, las sentía por mi cuerpo. En silencio te marchaste. Esa noche de mi cuarto, despidiéndote frotaste ya tus manos en mi espalda y llorabas en silencio para que no te escuchara. Mi cielo perdió un ángel. Mi cielo perdió un ángel y mi corazón lloraba. Lágrimas nunca salieron, se quedaron con mi orgullo. Como el grito de un mudo, nadie me escuchaba. Mi cielo perdió un ángel y mi corazón lloraba. Lágrimas nunca salieron, se quedaron con mi orgullo. Como el grito de un mudo, nadie me escuchaba. Y en silencio te marchaste al viento y nunca regresaste, amor. Notas no me dejaste, ni marcas en el espejo. Y pensaste que tú ibas a huir y no dejabas nada en el momento. Tan solo tu dolor gritó en mi silencio. Mi cielo perdió un ángel. Ah, ah, ah. Mi cielo perdió un ángel y mi corazón lloraba. Lágrimas nunca salieron, se quedaron con mi orgullo. Como el grito de un mudo, nadie me escuchaba. Y en silencio te marchaste. Mi cielo perdió un ángel.
Bravo. Eric, that really was amazing. Thank you
Fully
for sharing
improvised.
with us. I love it. I love that song. It really speaks to me. It almost gets me emotional when I think about that song. It reminds me of my father.
There it is. It's a reminder that yeah, we do lose somebody or someone, and at the same time, they, and not in the case of your father, but in my case, it was a person was not strong enough to say, "Hey, I miss you too. I want to stay, but I gotta go. I'm gonna go." So it was a very pivotal point in my life where things kind of shifted from the first love of your life that you marry, blah blah blah, to like, okay, so this marriage thing, we could do it again. All right.
No hay
Then
mal
just
que
keep
por
going.
bien no venga.
Yeah, I mean, and you learn it and you keep going. So I can't complain. This song has opened a lot of doors for me. Has turned a lot of people who are not fans of rock have turned them fans of my stuff because it has a very pop rock progression and feel to it. Again, none of this was planned when it was recorded. Everything was done based on pure feeling. All the recording sessions were done on like, are we in the mood today? Nah, let's go to a bar. Are we in the mood today? No, let's get the hell out
You guys
of
were
here.
really feeling it when you
So
did
it literally, we had a great time recording because we had friends that were also interested, that were wanted to be part of it. It was a pile of people that from everywhere, even people who at the end were like, dude, get the hell away from me. You know, I don't want to know anything from you. Because you kind of learn in this industry that not everybody is your best friend. And you also learn that the people that you least expected are there 20 years later, like my friend Miguel. Miguel was there from the beginning. Miguel was there. And he was the one that got us into Emilio Estefan's recording studio. Who the hell gets you into a studio that known and says, hey, you can come and record here. Just let me be part of it. And that was sweet because he became then later on part of my second record and part of an acoustic album that I'm going to release now after this one. In the next few weeks, I'm going to say about 3-4 weeks, it should be ready. An album that I recorded in 2014, and Miguel was engineer on it. His name is Miguel Bustamante. He now runs a publishing thing too. So again, this has been a journey that if I die tomorrow, I'll be like, I did my job. I did what I had to do.
You did what you came here on Earth, your purpose, right? You feel like you're fulfilling a mission.
Break through the cliches of people saying you can't sing, because a lot of people in high school told me, you sing? Oh, yeah, whatever.
Miami Springs was rough, though.
It wasn't even just Springs. It was everybody.
Right.
Every party. Oh, I didn't know you could sing. But then again, I love seeing the face of the person go, wow.
Shit, that's pretty good, Eric.
Or they see the band and they go, man, you guys sound amazing. And they don't even speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Like it happened to me in Washington, a crew of like, I don't know, maybe 10 people watching the band in the back of a restaurant. They got us a place to play. And the people were just hanging until the end. And that is something that to me speaks loudly, that a lot louder than any
You're
record.
connecting. You're connecting.
So,
you're like I always say, even with this podcast, if you connect to one person and you're helping one person, if your message is helping one struggling artist, a young artist that's starting off in the business, what advice are you giving them? You're telling them all your hardships, how I've gotten to where I've gotten, and how you still feel fulfilled.
It's not supposed to be hard. People have made it hard because they're afraid that you could maybe get bigger or faster or whatever from them. But honestly, there's no reason for that. There's 8 billion plus people around the world. There's plenty of audience to go around to share with the world. There's plenty of people
that'll like your music.
So it's not my interest to be the only one. But fortunate enough, I know for a fact, as a solo artist, as a band, every time I've gone on stage where nobody knows me and I'm given a chance to perform, I'm sure I will turn your head around and be like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Like that is what sold me on. I'm doing what I like. It wasn't about, oh, look at me. And I'm hanging out with Monica at the next bar, that's
you're living your
open.
passion.
So yeah, I mean, just let it go. Do it because it really fulfills you. It fulfills me to complete music. It fulfills me to create art. It fulfills me to help friends. I have helped a bunch of friends, and I don't go around posting them all over the place, but there's a bunch of people that have been to my house and spoken to me for hours, getting them the idea. How do you do this? How do you do that? And I've had some of those same people turn around and be like, I don't know who you are.
I'll
be like, oh, excuse me? Thank you very much. But
you know, listen, eventually
karma is lovely.
You're always going to figure out
sooner or later
who.
it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. So I will say to anybody like
What's
that.
What's the famous Mike Tyson quote? Not everybody who's your enemy is your enemy, and not everybody that's your friend is your friend.
Yeah,
and I think that's so true.
In a very generic way, yes, you have to be a little bit more with like hands-on with people. Of like I know for a fact that some of these people they were not bad intent. It's just they have bad info, and when you have bad info, you will work the wrong way. You will function the wrong way, just like anything. When you got all this equipment, you wanted to get it going. It's like, what do I do? And then I go, excuse me, let's set up here. Let's do this. And you go, like you get a relief because now you have good info. Same thing goes with people. You don't know somebody until you say hi. And the other person says hi. And you start talking. And to me has been that experience. I'll open the door to anybody. I don't care if you do rap, hip hop. Just don't bring drugs to my house. Don't bring weird crap to my house. And we're good. We'll work on music. But it opens the gates to more experiences. Like I've done music, I'm not going to say of every kind, but I've even done music for TV through a friend of mine. Sang for things that have to do with major TV networks. And my voice is there. It's in those morning shows and some of those things. And you don't even know it. And they're there. Thanks to this friend of mine that's his lifestyle. His life thing is work on that type of music. It's not mine, but he's like, hey, you sing that type of music good. Come and sing it. And I'll pay you some money. But again, it's just a matter of just getting there and doing it and kind of let go of the business viewpoint while you're creating. Yeah. Become a business savvy person when you're dealing with the money part. So you don't go poor, so nobody rips you off. So your friends don't walk out with your money or just simply don't tell you where the money is, because that's hilarious. Some people will know where to go get money and they won't tell you.
That's in any industry.
But anyways, I'm Monterosa. Thank you for having me in your show.
Eric,
first show ever. First show. We're breaking the ice.
We're breaking the ice with my dear friend Monterosa.
I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation and the performance.
Thank you for your wise words. Thank you for your amazing music today and sharing that with us. Now, why don't you let us know, how can we continue to follow all of your work, all of the social media platforms that you're on? You already mentioned that you're on Thursdays on YouTube. How do we help you?
Go to monterosamusic.com. Subscribe to my newsletter. That's the best thing you can do, because from there I could keep you posted every time I release important things. Follow me on social media. I'm very active on all of it. It's me who answers back most of the times. I don't have a third party or a second person behind me answering messages. Not there yet. I want to get that busy that I have to hire somebody to do that for me. But just go to my main website, monterosamusic.com, and I'm going to get a simpler URL someday. But for now, it's just Monterosa Music.
You're also posting constantly on Instagram. You have a Facebook account as well. Where you have gone live.
TikTok, but I'm not doing dumb things on TikTok. I'm repeating a lot of the things that I do in the other things. Because, man, I watch TikTok and boy.
TikTok is entertaining. It is entertaining. I like all the conspiracy theories.
There are things that you go, what? And I gotta say thanks to Baba that he behaved.
That's my little Havanese
Baba is
baby.
the mascot of the show. So
he is.
He behaved. He laid down and he let us do the show. So thank you, Monica, for having me here.
Thank you for coming, Eric. High five, my friend. Thank you so much. I love you.
Love you too.